They placed the empty chair in the corner, as if it carried blame. A single candle burned on the table. The flame was thin and steady. Shadows moved across the wallpaper like slow insects. People smiled, but the smiles did not reach their eyes. No one sat in the chair. My sister always saved that seat at birthdays. She said you should leave room for the person you missed. It was a small ritual, silly and sweet. After she vanished, the ritual felt like a challenge. The chair waited for someone who would not come home. 2 weeks had passed since the night the window was left open. The police offered papers and polite pity. They found no body, no clear trail. In the house, her things remained exactly as if she might return. A hoodie on a hook, an unread book, her playlist on loop. My mother folded her hands into tight shapes. My father kept staring at the doorway as if a person could step through it simply by wanting to. The candle would not drip. I sang because silence felt like loss. My voice shook. My nephew tugged at the hem of my shirt and asked, "Is she coming?" His question landed like a stone. No answer rose from the room. After guests left, the night settled like a heavy lid. Rain pattered the windows. I watched the candle keep its small island of light around the chair. Time felt elastic, stretching thin between heartbeats. At 3 a.m., a tiny scraping came from the chair. I walked over without thinking. The chair had turned a fraction, as though someone had just shifted. The air smelled of lemon and cigarette smoke, 2 things she favored. I told myself grief makes you see movement where there is none. Still, my skin prickled. A whisper said my name. Maya. The sound was close enough to touch, but thin as tissue. My knees gave. The candle quivered. The whisper left like someone walking out of a room and closing the door ever so softly. Fear narrowed me to a single point. I reached for the chair. The wood was smooth under my fingers. The shadow it threw thickened for a second and suggested a shape. I thought I saw the outline of a girl with her hair loose, but the candle blinked and the sight dissolved. The next morning the chair faced the wall as if nothing strange had happened. My mother would not speak about the night. My father pretended sleep was natural. I kept my mouth closed because naming what I had heard might make it true. Small things began to drift. A photograph slid face down. A mug I left in the sink found its way to the table. The radio turned to her favorite station when no one touched it. Each change was tiny and precise, like an animal adjusting in a trap. Then a letter arrived with no stamp. Her handwriting, cramped and a little slanted, bore my name. Inside, "Don't leave the chair empty." The paper felt warmer than it should. My hand trembled reading it. The house sighed as if relieved. We filled the chair with the things she loved. A shawl, a paperback, a cold cup of tea. We lit more candles. We spoke to the empty space because speaking felt better than silence. The candle burned lower and lower. At midnight, the room shifted. The air dropped in temperature. The flame went blue for a breath and steadied. The shawl had been turned as if someone had just moved. A scent, her scent, brushed past like a memory. "Are you there?" I asked. No words answered. Instead came a small pressure, like someone leaning back on a sofa after a long day. A laugh touched the rims of my ears, half real, half memory. It was as comforting as it was uncanny. We received another envelope the next morning. 3 typed words lay inside. "I am here." Nothing more. No clue of how she had spoken from the corner of the room. No map to follow. People suggested hoaxes, tricks, the mind at work. Maybe, yet pranks require participants. Hoaxes need someone to pull the string. I began to treat the chair like a living thing. I set a cup on its arm. I left the book open on its seat. The chair seemed satisfied. Nights brought whispers to each of us sometimes. My father heard jokes he had missed laughing at. My mother found letters tucked inside books that she swore she had already checked. My nephew dreamed and woke with drawings of a woman sitting under a candle with thin blue line, connecting hand to flame. One evening the boy curled up in a chair and said, "She told me not to be afraid." He held up a drawing. In it the chair held a woman, and a light linked to her hand. He did not know where the idea came from. He only knew the comfort of having someone speak to him. We never learned where she went or why she returned in pieces. Sometimes the scent lingered in the doorway. Sometimes the room was simply empty and quiet. The chair moved like the tide. Some nights close, some nights far. We learn to keep a space for things that cannot be solved. We learn to leave a light where memory could find its way. We learn that absence can be tended as if it were a plant. The tending does not bring the missing person back in the way you expect, but it changes how you live with the not knowing. If you place an empty chair for someone, be careful what you invite into that quiet. Sometimes you call memory, and it answers. Sometimes you call grief, and it sits. Sometimes you light a candle, and something else sits in the small warmth you leave behind. Keep your hand on the chair. Keep your ears open. Listen, and sometimes the chair will answer back.